6 performance tips to get the best vocal take. Hi again guys, Joe Novelli here. I am a singer and a vocal arranger with professional a cappella group The Sons of Pitches. I run lots of choirs and I work here at Grosvenor Road Studios in Birmingham. So here at GRS we have the biggest live room in Birmingham, perfect for larger choirs and ensembles. We have an SSL AWS 900 Plus desk. We have loads of vintage microphones including U87s, and we record and mix all kinds of music, choirs, rock, dance, everything you can think of. So in the last video, we looked at the things you need to start recording, whereas today, we're going to take the next step and look at practical steps for you to get that recording to the best quality it can be. So before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more music tips. Although the technical aspects of the recording are really important, the most important thing is getting a good, engaging vocal performance, as that is what the audience and the listeners are really going to tune into. So from one singer to another, here are my best tips for getting the best vocal performance. Let's get started. Number 1, make sure you're hydrated. I get a lot of singers who come in the studio and the first thing they do is ask for a bottle or a drink of water. The problem is you need to start hydrating a lot earlier than that. If you know you're recording that day, as soon as you wake up, start drinking water. You can't hydrate your voice well enough for recording in those 10 minutes before you record. Think about it at the beginning of the day, drink lots of water up to the recording, and your voice will feel so much fresher. Number 2, make sure you or the person you're recording does a good warm-up. I always start with warming up my face, because to do a good vocal performance, it's more than just your voice box that's working. Your whole face needs to be loose and relaxed. So, it looks pretty silly, but I start with some massages just around my cheeks, get the whole face loose, massage all the way around. I know it's very silly, but what we've been taught is get right in this gap here. This is actually the bottom of your tongue, and this is where often when you're supporting in a wrong place, this bit gets really stiff. So what you want to do is massage that really nice, get that nice and loose, do some big mouths, some small mouths, really stretch those mouth muscles, and really get your face, put some time into making sure your face and your body as a whole is ready for a good vocal take. So after you've warmed up your face muscles and your body, now I look at breathing, because again, it's a big part of singing. In order to hold those long notes and high notes and support them as best as you can, you need to make sure you've warmed up with some breathing. So with this, whenever you breathe, make sure you're breathing into your diaphragm here. A lot of people had a tendency to raise their shoulders. That's not what you want. We want to breathe all the way into our diaphragm. So what I do is just take deep breaths through my nose, hold my breath, and then back out through my mouth, just like this. And you can do that to a count of 4, 4, 4, and then maybe 8, 8, 8. Really do it nice and slow and really expand out your chest and make sure that your lungs are nice and warmed up. So after we've warmed up our breathing, we want to start warming up our voice. But what you don't want to do is dive in with really hard and harsh sounds that could strain your voice. What I suggest is starting with something really soft that limits the airflow through your mouth. So this could be a siren, for example, where you make an NG at the back of your throat like this. And slowly start stretching your range. Go nice and high, nice and low. Or it could be something else like a zh or a v that you use to do some scales and arpeggios. Just to really gently warm up your voice. And then after that, you can stretch out into full-on singing. And again, I suggest doing some scales and arpeggios, just because that will stretch the range of your voice, give you those low notes, give you those high notes, and move it up and down the range you're going to be singing and your full range, and make sure you've really opened up the full capacity of your voice. Number 3, make sure you've learnt your lyrics. Now, this doesn't sound that important, but the thing I really find difficult is when people come to the studio having not learnt their lyrics at all, and they're standing there reading their lyrics while they're singing, because this actually causes two problems. So the first is a technical thing where they're not singing directly into the mic, so you're not getting the best technical vocal take. Secondly, and potentially more importantly, it's actually taking their focus off their vocal performance and into the lyrics. So often the take sounds less genuine and less full of energy because they're actually just sitting there reading the words and their focus is on reading the words correctly. Whereas to get the best vocal performance, you really need to focus on the performance itself. So knowing the lyrics beforehand and not having to think about them is such a good way to make sure you're able to give your best vocal performance. Number 4, make sure you or whoever you're recording is feeling comfortable. This is super important because, again, like I said, the focus needs to be on getting the best performance, and anything to distract from that is going to take away from that performance. So I've had people come into the studio and they've been singing, getting a little bit self-conscious because, you know, it's a difficult place to come and sing, and recording in general, it's a very isolated feeling standing in front of that microphone, and actually just turning the lights off so they can't see me anymore and know that I can't see them, that's helped in the past. Things like that, anything to make that singer feel more comfortable. Wearing comfortable clothes or shoes is a really good place to start as well. Just try and make yourself comfortable and get rid of any distraction that will stop you from giving a good vocal performance. Number 5, make sure you keep the flow when recording yourself or recording someone else. And what I mean by that is try not to be too stop-starty with the recording process. So if you imagine, when you're recording a vocal for the song, you want that vocal to take the listener on a journey throughout the whole song. What you don't want is lots of different chopped up feelings and emotions where they don't quite match each other. So I would always start with trying to get a nice, consistent vocal take of as much of the song as possible, because that will really have a nice, smooth journey across it. And then you can go in later on. If there's bits you don't like, you can go in and we say punch in and re-record over those bits to fix that. So for example, if we're looking at this project here, I've recorded some do's here and I don't like the 4th do, which comes in about here. So what I could do is go in and record just that do in isolation, but the problem is it might not match the energy and tone of the first 3 do's. So what I would suggest doing is just playing along and singing along with those first 3 do's. Hit the record when you get to that 4th do and drop that in and just keep singing, because then you're already in the flow of how it sounds. For example, like this. And then you're already matching the tone of those first 3 do's and you'll get a much more consistent take. Number 6, make sure you think about whether your song is easy or hard to sing. What I mean by this is, if there's a really hard part of your song to sing that's going to wear out your voice, make sure you've got enough voice by the time you get there to get a good vocal take. Often people will come in and sing from the start to the end. By the time they've got to that end high part, they've knackered their voice out and doing loads of takes of that easy bit at the start. So maybe just have a think. If there's a really difficult bit that you know you're going to struggle to sing, maybe just start with that bit. Make sure you get a really good, clean take of that, and then go back and do the easier bits later. So as I said at the start of the video, it's really, really important to get a really good vocal take and make it as good as we can and get the energy and emotion in it, because that is what the listener will really connect to. Remember that tuning and timing can be fixed, but energy and emotion can't, so make sure you get that right from the recording. So if you like this video, make sure you look at the rest of the videos on the Aux YouTube channel for more music tips. If you're looking for more ways to share your music and get feedback from collaborators, head to aux.app and download the desktop app. You can follow me at Joe Novelli Music and the studio here at Grosvenor Road Studios. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.